Okay guys, welcome to another Mamemeister and Chums Talk Pish, and I am delighted to welcome Brian C. Good evening, Squire.
Good evening, Alan.
Well, we made it eventually, eh?
Unbelievable.
Just to let you understand, we had originally arranged to do this thing at 8:30 tonight, and it is now 8 minutes to 11 at night. I've actually got a subject heading here called When Tech Goes Tits Up, and it's probably quite appropriate for today. I was through in Glasgow, and my mother-in-law asked me if I would pop into her house to enable her Amazon Fire Stick thing. So I thought that's fine. I thought that'll take 10 minutes. So I think I contacted yourself, Brian, says I'll give you a call when I get back. But so I arrived there about 5:30. And it was, I don't know, 8:30 by the time I left. I'm not even going to go into details about what happened, but suffice to say, we had the TV, it's one of the flat screen things, we had the TV off the wall and everything. I mean, that's how much we're getting into it. But it was one of these things, you ever notice that when you've got a problem with something, you think, right, that's not working. So you think, right, what I need to do is download the software to then fix it. But then you find out that your Wi-Fi is not working, so you can't download the software. Before you realise you're trying to download a driver on another computer to get the Wi-Fi to work, to download the software to try and fix. Before you know it, you're about 10 problems away from the original thing that you started. So anyway, yeah, you had a problem with your laptop.
I certainly did. Was working well all day, and it comes to talking to Alan, and it dies.
Oh, wait a minute, you're trying to put the blame on me anyway.
I've got to blame somebody, haven't I?
But suffice to say, you're in good company, Brian. I mean, every time I've spoke to anybody on this, using this Skype thing, it always seems to go, it never goes smoothly. But for the first time, it was actually your fault rather than mine, so I'm going to, the blame lies firmly in your camp. So before we kind of get going with this thing, obviously in light of your computer woes, I believe you're on Skype using a mobile phone, is that right?
Certainly am.
Right, okay. How's the reception from there normal? Is it?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Oh well, that's good. That's good. So hopefully you'll not cut out too much anyway. So anyway, yeah, how the hell have you been? I mean, to let the viewers understand, you were probably, in fact, let you explain. You're one of the first the first subscribe, I believe. Eh?
Well, I first started listening to Alan on YouTube about 2 years ago. I wasn't actually looking for a retro games channel. What it was
Oh, I've got something stuck in my throat. What was that word you used? Sorry.
I was actually well. There was a DJ on the radio who used to play 10 tracks in 10 minutes and remix them, and he called it his 10-minute mashup. And I used to really like watching that. So I was looking on YouTube to see if any of the stuff was on YouTube, because normally you can find any music track on YouTube. And when I was searching, I found 10-minute mashup, and it was this Scottish lad reviewing Pish games for 10 minutes, and I watched it, and I thought, that's quite good. Nice to hear another Scottish guy on YouTube. And I subscribed, and I listened to the next one, and the next one, and at that time, he was putting out videos like every day, and it was good.
A bit ridiculous, wasn't it?
I mean, you weren't getting many views, but I didn't care.
Were you one of the guys? Firstly, I would actually bet my money. In fact, I'd even bet your broken laptop that you're probably the only person to get to the channel by typing 10-minute mashup.
Yeah. Yeah.
So somebody actually said to me, and I think there's a bit of truth in this. I mean, I'm doing a Billy Coyle, I'm going away off on a tangent, but one thing that you probably know I do, Brian, is if I play a game, say I play Manic Miner, I don't call it Manic Miner, play through Manic Miner Spectrum, I'll call it, you know, Mamemeister plays a Pish game or something like that. I come up with my stupid titles, and that probably doesn't help people finding stuff. You know what I mean? It's unlikely somebody's going to go, I quite fancy listening to two Scottish guys talk pish. Tell you what, why not Google Mamemeister and Chums talk pish? But, you know.
But it's true. I did actually do a search for 10-minute mashup.
Excellent. Did you ever find what you're looking for?
No.
You
No,
didn't?
no,
Oh,
no,
right,
no.
well, you found second best place. Kelly, you've given me. I mean, you've always been. You've always been a very. What's the word for it? Not loyal. Yeah, well, no, you. Sorry, not loyal. That's a stupid word to say. You've always supported my channel, big stuff, big time, which I always appreciate, as I do with everybody. I mean, you kind of went off the radar for a wee bit, didn't you?
I think what it was I stopped commenting rather than I was still watching them, but I was I was just watching them and then not commenting. When you forget that you have to comment. I realised the people making the videos don't know you're there.
I think, yeah, I mean, absolutely, obviously, as a YouTuber, I can totally get that. I mean, there's one guy, he's a fellow Scot, and if you've not watched him, you absolutely need to watch him. He's called Swifto. He's just a young chap, and he's a fellow Scot, and he's brilliant. And but he's always said that as well, that the comment thing is quite important, and it's absolutely true. Because the funny thing is, I mean, when you watch, if I look at a video that I've made, it's got maybe like 100 views or something, it'll only have like 3 comments, and you think, well, technically, there's another like 97 people have looked at it and gone, oh fuck that, and then they moved on or watched it, whatever. But yeah, I think any person that makes YouTube videos, they would agree that getting comments back is it's what makes a difference. I mean, were you one of the guys right at the very start? I mean, I'm trying to think when it was. I mean, I've been making videos for, well, it was 2 years. In fact, it was December 13. I was making them. I think it was. In fact, it's stuck in my head, and I know you'll give me a hard time for this, but it was back in the day when I used to give the Mamemeister mashups a number.
Oh. That really annoyed
I know you
annoyed
did.
me when you stopped doing the numbers. Because we're
did
heading
say,
towards 300.
I think it was about 267 or something I stopped, and you did say you need to start renaming them. And I thought, right, okay, and I thought, well, in fact, here's a deal. I'll put this out in the air right now. If you can count them all up and tell me what number I'm up to, then I'll start from there. I thought, there's no quick way to actually find out how many I've done, but
because I remember you did a 20-minute mashup on the 100.
What the hell? What game is that?
Was it Sensible Soccer you did for 20 minutes or something?
You know what? In fact, no, I was talking bollocks. I was going to say what was I playing? I was doing a mashup of a game the other day or a couple of weeks ago, and when I was doing a search, I thought I've bloody well done that already. I mean, what I should really do. Oh, there's that zoom lens zooming in and out again. It's probably Jamie wanting to come in the call. What I was going to say, I can't even know what I was talking about. Yeah, I should really actually keep a note of the ones that I do. But going back to, I think it was mashup number 45. It kind of rings a bell, or 42 or something like that. So it was quite a while actually. But then at that point, I was making probably 7 a week. So that would have only been about 6 or 7. Okay guys, apologies, another little technical hitch there. We're not having much luck at all, so this could be the quickest ever Mamemeister and Chums talk pish, which depending on how it goes might not be a bad thing. But anyway, what we'll be talking about, Mamemeister mashup 45 I think it was, or 42. I decided after getting a whopping, I think I peaked at something like 3 views of a video, to throw in the towel. Were you one of the ones that were there at the time? I think you were, eh?
Mamemeister, game over. I'm like, no, Alan, come on. You're just getting into the swing of it, come on.
Were you one? I remember, I think 2 people said, oh, I enjoy it. I don't know if it was you, if you're one of them, but you know what, that was just... Were you one of them?
Oh, yeah.
You might have been, yeah. Well, aye. Thanks to that, I've kept going. But talking about comments, I mean, it's so true. But at the end of the day, yeah, you're talking to yourself. But the funny thing is, when I look back at some of the early videos that I do, you go, Christ almighty, that's cringeworthy. But see, I think the difference is when I make a video, when I make the Friday waffle, I'm talking to people that I kind of know. I know that there's maybe, I mean, you know, there's maybe, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 people that kind of actively comment. So I'm talking to these people. There's obviously others that are watching it. But the fact that you've got in your face, you're talking to somebody, you're recording a message to people that you know, that makes all the difference. So doing the comments absolutely for any YouTuber is vital. It's really important because that's your way of thinking that this thing's actually switched on, that there is actually somebody listening. If that makes any sense.
Exactly, yeah, yeah.
You know, have you ever had any thoughts about doing your own channel at all, or is there not enough room for another Scottish person?
Maybe me and Jamie should do a channel, over Skype.
You'll understand. Jamie, he came along a wee bit later on, didn't he? But he came in with a bit of a bang. It was like all these comments, which was fantastic, you know. And he was commenting all the time, and then he just sort of disappeared off the radar. But I think I think he's moved house actually, and I know that he's started a new job as well. So obviously things like that take over, which is completely understandable. But he did want to be part of this call tonight, but unfortunately due to circumstances beyond our control, it was going to be later on. And because I think he lives in, is it Holland, is it?
Yeah,
Or is it Iraq or something? I don't know where Jamie's staying. I think it's Holland. It was 10:30. Well, it would be midnight. It'd be 10 past midnight if he was actually in this. So that's the reason he's not in. But we're here anyway. So aye, that's what we're talking about. So yep, comments. It's always vital to keep these things going. But aye, I will try and reintroduce the numbers of the mashups just for you. I know there's a bit of an in joke, and you probably nobody else gets it. The squint cam. You know, it's.
The thing is, you used to be like, oh, the videos, when I'm filming them, they look absolutely dead level, and I'm saying, what, your head must be on at an angle then.
In my defence, I'm looking at I don't know, a two inch screen, and so it looks. But the thing is, if it's out 1 pixel on the screen, when you blow that up onto your 42-inch telly, it's like 2 feet out. I mean, the number of times that I've recorded a video. I mean, I don't do quite so many videos sort of pointing a camera at something. But I did notice it's bizarre. My camera, I mean, what is that, Canon? I think it is. But I mean, it cost me a fair bit of money, you know, a couple of years ago. But it's the lens that you look through. It's actually got 4 wee, you know, bits at the corner. And what I realise is you've got to line it up. So actually, you've got to line it up with the leftmost side of the screen, because if you point it in the middle, then kind of bits are almost cut off. So I've kind of now learned to line it up. So I must admit, some of them, there's been a couple of these pointing at the camera jobs that I've done, and I think you'd be hard pushed, even you, to actually notice that it's not been recorded on a video. If that makes any sense.
That's how. Before, you could always tell if it was straight. He's using an emulator and just grabbing it straight. So it's dead straight because it's straight off the emulator. And if he's pointing the camera at a screen, it was squint. But then you started actually doing pointing ones that were actually straight.
Yeah,
he's getting good at this. Getting good at this.
The thing is, I mean, I've always maintained it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a TV program or a bloody film or a YouTube channel. It doesn't matter anything. It's all about, to me, it's all about content rather than about, you know. I mean, there's I've probably got about the most amateurish production values out of anybody that plays the sort of the video games. But equally, I've also seen some video channels in the past, and you're like, wow, bloody hell, look at that intro, oh, CGI, boo, boo, boo. After 5 minutes, I'm like, this is shite. You know, it's all about content, I think.
Like I'm a Hearts fan. I'd rather watch Hearts on a 12-inch black and white portable than watch Celtic on a 42-inch high-def TV.
That's case in point, isn't it? Anyway, let's see. Right, I've just got a few bits and bobs. We'll probably try and keep this to an hour anyway. I don't know how we're doing time wise, but excuse me. What I mean, you're obviously well. You're saying that you weren't even looking for video games. You were looking for music. Are you a video gamer? I mean, you've obviously got
Oh
an interest.
yeah.
Are you a video gamer? What tell us a wee bit about your video game. Not so much your history, but what is it you use now? Have you got any old systems, or have you got any new systems?
At one point, I had a PS3, an Xbox 360, and a Wii. And also I had my Amstrads. My Amstrad somewhere. I haven't had the actual. I mean, I've played my Amstrad on the emulators. Actually, I've played loads of emulators now because I've played all. I mean, one thing I started doing after I started listening to your channel was like playing C64 emulators and playing Spectrum emulators, even BBC emulators. BBC emulators quite good.
I think that's what's great about whether it's anything you can do. But I think when you watch, I mean, I'll watch like Steve Benway playing something, and I'll think I'm going to go and play that, and it's just it's seen a game. I mean, nowadays with having emulators, you've got a million files, and it's like, what am I going to play now? I don't know. But if somebody actually puts on a game, I mean, I put a game. Perfect example was there was a game that fellow Scots Stuart Campbell. Actually, I think he did all the designing in the levels. Called what's Manic Miner for the DS, Nintendo DS, and it was I don't know if you've watched that one. It came out. The actual game came out about maybe 5 years ago, and it's an absolutely blinding game. Fantastic sort of Manic Miner. It's like different levels, and I'd completely forgotten all about it. And then I was going through my stuff and I saw it and I thought, I'm going to play that. And I thought, oh wait a minute, I'll record it. And there's been a lot of guys. I mean, Novabug Chris, he's a massive Manic Miner fan. There's been a lot of guys commenting saying, Vectrex Rolly, he's another guy that had seen it. There's a lot of guys didn't even know that game existed. So that's the wonder of these kind of things. You do see games that you maybe weren't aware of. And I've found a lot of games. So it's a great way to kind of discover stuff.
You get like classic games on newer systems, and the classic games were good. They were frustrating. That's what's good about them. Stuff like Manic Miner and Jet Set Willy, trying to get past a level and you think, right, I've got to jump over this and get this. And you've got to jump right at the right point. And you learn it, and once you get it in, after the 50th attempt, you get there, and it's such an achievement.
That's the thing. Playing games back then was completely different. I mean, now, in fact, again, it was Stuart Campbell. He used to have a website before he kind of got involved in politics and that kind of stuff. But a brilliant like reporter and journalism. But he did a feature on, I think it was like Sonic Adventure, or one of the Sonic games that came out for, I think it was the Xbox or the PS2, and he basically said that he put it on auto fire and he sellotaped the controller in the up position, and I think he ended up completing the game, and that just proves hold it forward, jump, 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 collect the rings, you wouldn't get away with that in Manic Miner, you know what I mean?
No.
But it's funny. I mean, like, I do definitely regard myself as, I love the old games, but the longer, and probably maybe even doing YouTube videos and that as well, because in the Friday Waffle, the first thing I say is, oh, what games have I been playing? I've not really been playing very much, and I think people maybe expect me to be saying, oh, I've been playing Commodore 64 games and Spectrum games, but when I actually think about it, let's cut to the chase. I would say probably 90% of 8-bit games were total shit, and you would not want to play them again. There's even, dare I say it, and flame away at will. Well, you'll not because you were an Amstrad owner, but anyway, Bruce Lee. I mean, that game has got a lot of fond memories. I mean, I've got a feature called Why I Love, and it's just games. They're not particularly good, but why I love it, and that was the first one I done. I love Bruce Lee to bits. It's many happy memories. I'm not going to talk about that, but I've played it since, and I've actually realised it's actually quite. It's not got the same appeal as it had back in 1984, whenever it was.
The thing is, you didn't have anything else. That's the thing.
No, but that was exactly it. Yeah, you had to make a choice. I mean, until we, I always laugh when people talk about exchanging games in the playground. I was bloody working when I was copying games. I was 20-year-old when I was. I didn't get up, I didn't go to the playground. I'd already been done for child abuse, a paedophile swapping games with kids. But
We had to buy games. We had to buy games in John Menzies in Princess Street.
that's exactly it. I mean, absolutely. I mean, when I think, I mean, well, not giving too much away. Where do you actually? What's the town that you live in again, Brian? Are you in Glasgow?
No, I'm in Edinburgh.
Oh, oh, you're in Edinburgh. Oh, Christ, I should know your accent. You're in Edinburgh. So where did you buy your games? What was the first computer you got? The Amstrad.
The Amstrad, yeah. So all my 90% of the games I bought them in the John Menzies in Princess Street.
Well, I've got to say first, was it your mum and dad bought you Amstrad?
Aye, yeah.
That was tantamount to child abuse. Bloody hell! I hope they.
I've got to say, there was a John Menzies in Princess Street and there was a John Menzies in St James's Centre.
I'm trying to remember where. I'm trying to picture where it was in St James's. You know what? It's been that long. But the only shop I can remember in St James's Centre was when you're walking towards it. If you're walking past the Duke of Wellington statue, whatever it is. Again, they've probably just upset lots of people. As you walk in, there used to be the bus station was on the right, and there used to be before you went into the James's Centre, there used to be a record shop on the left-hand side. Do you remember that?
Vinyl Villains.
Oh, I couldn't tell you what the name of it is, but I can't remember walking into John Menzies, walking into St James's Centre. I can't actually recall. I can't even remember the layout of it.
There was a John Menzies. The games were up the stair.
And what are you talking about in the one in St James's Centre?
One in St James's Centre, yeah.
I can't really recall. The funny thing is, I used to get the bus through. In fact, probably by that point, I think I had a car. I probably was. Well, no, I wasn't driving when I was bloody 17. No, I was. I did. No, but I didn't. I'd passed my test, but I didn't have a car for quite a few years after it. But no, I didn't go to that one. But yeah, I used to go into John Menzies, and I can always remember. I mean, they just don't make shops like John Menzies anymore. But you walked in, and then you had the escalator that went downstairs.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as you went down, this was before computer games. As you went down, you looked to the left, and there was all these LCD games on the wall. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, because they had all the computer games and all the videos were doing the stair.
I think when they first got the 8-bit games, as you went down the escalator, obviously once the LCD games got put out to grass, as you went down the escalator, just on the right-hand side at the bottom of the escalator, they had all the 8-bit games. And then I think later on, did they not move all the games up to the far corner on the right-hand side?
Aye, because I mind going down the stair, buying, just before Christmas, buying Outrun for the Amstrad. What a mistake that was.
Double 12 abuse, bloody hell. You've done well, you're not scared at all.
The Sold a Million compilations, they were always good.
Aye. But so I mean, as you say, I mean, back then it was that's all you had. I mean, obviously once piracy came along, that was fine. But I still, I mean, I was working part time after school. And I used to get paid in hard cash. I think it was like £12 a week ago. And there was I'm not going to keep going on because I've done this probably a million times. The very, very, very first computer shop that I ever went to, I'd even heard of, was this guy, an Italian. He owned this little Atari computer shop, and it was at the top of a stairwell. When you went to the top, on the left there was the taxis, and they had a Donkey Kong machine in there. I remember that. But yeah, he used to close. He was primarily an Atari dealer, but he started stocking C64 games. And I used to get Zap magazine, and I would go through, Beachhead, what to buy Beachhead, and I would finish work at 5 o'clock, and he would close at 5:30, and depending on how, if I got out of work in time, I'd jump on my moped and up to Ray's shop, get the latest game. So then you were standing there, and you were like, they want Beachhead, or they want Spy Hunter, or there's Tapper, and you had to make your choice.
Well, the good thing was, back in the day, there was like your budget range for $1.99, and then your full price range was like $9.99. But,
Mhm.
and you just, well, when I came to the Amstrad stuff, you think, well, this is only $1.99, and I've not got that one, so I'm just getting this. Yeah. Maybe it was great, maybe it was rubbish, but you know, it's like, it's something
Well,
different, yeah, and it's only £2. And your £2
well.
was worth a lot more back then,
So when exactly did you get your Amstrad then? What year would it be?
eh? 80, was it 80, 86, I'm thinking?
86. So I was in them before that. Because I mean, the funny thing is, I was in them before budget games came along. I mean, I think I remember the very first, obviously the very very first budget titles were Mastertronic. God, that phone's going like a handbell, isn't it?
Somebody's deaf.
Do you want to answer it?
No.
Phone at 20 past 11 at night, dearie me. But aye, it was all about, as you say, I mean, a lot of the games now, it was, the graphics were, there was a few games that had good graphics, but ordinarily it was all about just imagining, it was about using your kind of imagination to fill in the gaps. I mean, the perfect example of a shit looking game and actually quite good gameplay was one that I actually played, was it this week or was it last week? I think it was this week. Mario Brewery. I don't know if you
Oh,
watched
I
it.
did watch that, yeah.
I'll tell you, if anybody wants cheered up, watch it because when I first put it on, I just couldn't stop laughing. It was, I was just buckled with laughter.
I
It was
thought you were
just,
going to rip this to shreds, but you loved it, didn't you? You absolutely loved it.
but that's the funny thing was when I first started playing it, I was in hysterics because it's like there's no animation. The guy just, it's like when you first, well, I never did that, but if you ever got one of these make a game programs, the first thing you did was you'd draw a sprite of usually a cock and balls as you did, and then you would get it to move, but it didn't animate. It just slid across left and right, and that's what this Mario character did. He just slid. I'd never ever seen. It's the first game I've ever played, commercial game, which came out in cartridge, by the way. That there was no animation at all in the main character. It just it just slid back and forwards, and I just thought this was hilarious. I mean, it was like a huge expanded Mario sprite with a red sweater on. And the funny thing was, as you say, I was playing it and I thought, oh, this is awful, and all I was trying to do was slag it off. And then once I realised that you could do these huge big jumps, and you could clear like 5 barrels all at once,
You
and you could also go up and down.
screen, weren't you? You thought, right.
Aye, you could also go up and down ladders with a hammer and that. And once I actually figured out the game mechanics, I actually thought it wasn't a bad game.
The other thing back in the day is I used to spend a fortune on computer magazines. Because I think
Aye.
you didn't have the internet, so
No.
you had to get your magazines because that's the only way you heard about what was going on. So we get Amstrad Action and Amstrad Computer User and Ace.
What was? Oh, you might have. Well, if you didn't get into it until '86, was Amtix? Was that not doing the rounds?
Oh, that kind of rings a bell.
Amtix was like the Zap Crash magazine for the Amstrad. It was made by bloody hell, Newsfield.
Because
Yeah.
Amstrad Action was Future Publishing.
Was that Future? Was it? Was it
Future
Publishing?
did Amstrad Action, and they did. What else did they do? I can't try to think. Did they do Ace, or was that somebody?
I can't remember. I mean, Ace came later on. That was kind of
Aye.
six,
It was later. Aye.
Aye. But you're absolutely right. I mean, that was our Bible. Unless somebody else. But again, because I was away from school. I was at work. It was one of these things that I worked in an office, and you didn't talk about computer games. I can always remember. It's quite funny. I mean, I would be what. 20, fuck, what would I be now? In fact, I was 18. I was 18 years old, and I used to fancy this girl called Antoinette who worked in the accounts department. And I was in the accounts department one day doing something, and there was a guy. I mean, I was 18, and there was a guy called Bill. I can't remember his second name, and he was one of the estimators. It was a construction company, and I don't know how we got talking, but we got to realise that Bill was into computer games, and I thought this was the most bizarre. Here's a a man in his 30s playing video games. Listen to me, bloody 2 years off 50, but anyway. And I just thought this was strange. I always remember my boss. This guy came into my office one day. I shared an office with my boss, and this guy came into the office one day, and he started on about computer games. And then when he left, my boss goes, "Is he into fucking computer games? That man needs to fucking grow up." And I'm like, "Oh, that's terrible." But anyway, back to Antoinette and accounts. So I thanked this girl, and I was sitting beside her doing some work, and this guy Bill appeared at the door, and he was talking about something, and then he goes, "Oh, Alan, I've just got the new freaking Jet Set Willy game," and I'm like, "Oh, all right, aye," and I'm trying to kind of pretend I didn't hear him. He goes, "You want me to bring it in? You can get a copy of it." And I'm like, "Oh," and I could feel myself sliding in the chair. And then Antoinette's like, "You into these computer games?" I said, "No, it's my pal. He's got a Spectrum or something." "No, it's fucking crap, aren't they?" Aye. And we did actually go out on 2 dates, and then she saw my Commodore 64 and Julie dumped me. So anyway,
That's terrible.
but yeah, I was rather embarrassed about being a gamer back then. But excuse me. So anyway, I think have we covered that one? I think we probably have 8-bit games. Hey, what was I going to say to you? What I mean, we're talking. I told you that 90% of the games now are probably I wouldn't play. I mean, what would you? How many 8-bit games would you actually play now? Would you think? No, or not? How many games would you say are actually genuinely worth playing?
I like.
Being an Amstrad owner, you're obviously struggling.
I still like Speed King on Strad.
Speed King, actually, you did mention that. I remember that was by digital. Was it Digital Integration? No,
Um,
the I can remember it was I had it on the C64. It was actually pretty good, and it was you had like 6 gears, I think, eh?
aye.
You had, and it was it was kind of like Hang On, but it was really good. It was a lot no, Hang On, yeah, that's the motorbike one. It was kind of similar to the Spectrum. What was that Spectrum one? The motorbike game, one of the really famous Spectrum ones. But it was like that, but better.
Because I remember when my dad was alive, me and him playing Speed King, just going for the lap records on Silverstone. It was always mine because like the third bend on Silverstone was like really tight. So basically, if you fucked up the third bend, you're screwed. But if you made a good, it's all doing in this one bend. There was like quite a long straight before it, and if you tried to take it flat out, that was you screwed. but just hours playing this one track.
That's exactly it. You got quite obsessive about better things, but and it's just what you were talking about, like platform games. I mean, games back then. I used to say that old games are better than newer games, but I would probably quite strongly disagree with that now. I've got the two kind of current consoles, and for somebody to say that the old games were the best, I'm sorry, but I mean I asked you to name games that you play, and you could only come up with one. You know what I mean? I don't know how many hundreds you played, and it's the same with me. I mean, if I was to think of games that are worthy, and I don't mean putting it on for a couple of minutes and then switching off. I mean a game that, because back then you would put on Way of the Exploding Fist and you would play it all night. You wouldn't put it on for a second and go, right, I'm bored, I'll put something else on. You did do that with some games, but if I was to try and actually think of games that I would actually enjoy playing, the two, I've mentioned this before, the two Super Pipeline games. I don't know if you've ever played that in Amstrad.
Oh yeah, actually the first time I played Super Pipeline was like watching one of your mashups. I played it on the.
So you'd never really played it before?
I didn't play it before, no. But I wish I had it, like.
Oh, it's without a doubt one of my favourite video games ever. It's just fantastic. It's a brilliant, brilliant game. And and it's not rose-coloured spectacles or any of that bollocks. It's still a freaking good game, and I really enjoy playing it. Um, Other games that I would actually play, Hyper Sports maybe. You know what the thing is? In fact, I'm kind of moving on to something else I was going to talk about. Back in the day, you would. I can always remember. There's two games that I could not wait. You know what happened? You would go. Well, we didn't have arcades where we were. I mean, you probably had. What arcades did you go to? Did you go to Portobello and LA's? Did you go to LA's and Lothian Road?
I've been there. Yeah. It was the one on the pleasure beach in Portobello though. That's the first place I saw like the massive outrun. They had that.
Aye, you played the same one as me. I can even remember where it was, walking right in, and it was in front of you on the left hand side. I can even remember.
Incredible.
Yeah. So what was I talking about? I can always remember the game. The game that I was probably most excited about getting a home conversion of would have been probably Year Kung Fu. I played it. Where did I play it? I played it in Stevenson College. I used to go there for day release. I played it in Stevenson College, and I just thought this was incredible, absolutely incredible. And then the same with like Gauntlet, when I discovered Gauntlet, and it was getting released, and you know what it was like. You used to get the latest computer magazine, and you would go, oh God, look at hell, there's another picture of Gauntlet, and that looks brilliant. You'd look at it and go, well, that looks really, really, looks just like the arcade, and you couldn't wait to play it. And, yeah, sometimes in the case of, I've got to say, in the case of Year Kung Fu, I happen to think that in fact, did I do an arcade perfect my arse in Year Kung Fu?
Yeah.
I think I did. And I actually think that the C64 is probably my favourite one, maybe slightly biased, I don't know, but I think it's an excellent version.
I like that on the Amstrad.
In fact, you know what? Yep, you're absolutely right. The Amstrad one, what did I mark it down? I think I marked it down because it was slightly slow, but having played it since, I would probably say it's a very close thing, but because I'm a C64 man, I'm going to always go for the C64 one. Anyway, we digress. But so that was, there were games. Was there any like 8-bit games that you couldn't wait to get the arcade version? Sorry, was there any arcade games that you saw pictures of in the magazine and you thought, I can't wait to get that?
I think if I'd seen it run in the magazine, I think they released that right before Christmas so that people saw it in the shops and just went for it. They didn't get a chance to read the reviews, realise how pish it was going to be. But
that's right. That's right.
Like football games, Match Day 2 on the Amstrad, brilliant football game.
Yeah. So was there any arcade games?
Arcade games. I was looking forward to the.
I see, being an Amstrad man, you're obviously struggling. I'll let you pick from another computer if you want. You're struggling there. You can't think of wanting to do that. But yeah, I think it was, what do you call it? Chase HQ was an excellent version. That was really good, wasn't it?
Fantastic on that. Power Drift was quite good as well.
Aye, fun enough, Power Drift was actually, I think I did another Arcade Perfect on that, and I think most of the versions of that were really good. There wasn't any. You tend to find that. I found, again, doing the Arcade Perfect my arse, it's the only time when I would ever play every version of a game for obvious reasons. And there's always been some games where they've all been shit, and you've just mentioned the Outrun. What else? Rolling Thunder. I've not actually done a mashup of that. I think because there's only about 5 versions of that. But then there was other games like, you call it Power Drift. That was pretty good. Space Harrier wasn't too bad.
Hang on the Amiga. That was fantastic. Absolutely.
I think the second one, that was
Super Hang On. Super Hang On on the Amiga.
And I think what made it really good was you could use the mouse to control analog, and you had the left mouse button to throttle and right mouse button to brake, I think it was.
Absolutely superb.
They were good. So going back to what the sort of point was, yes. So there was games that you thought, oh, I can't wait to get it, can't wait to get it, can't wait to get it, and then you rush down to John Menzies, wherever it was, and you pick it up, and you look at the box, and it'd be like screenshots from arcade
Oh
versions,
yeah, that would not
home
be
versions may vary. You better bloody believe it.
not actual graphics.
Home versions may differ.
When you get TV commercials for PS4 games and it says not actual graphics. Why? Why would it do that?
Aye, absolutely. Gameplay may vary, but you were absolutely, you looked at the box. But the thing is, because you thought the arcade game's brilliant, the graphics for the arcade game look brilliant, so it's bound to be brilliant, and usually you tend to find it when it actually, they did that for a reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Occasionally use the C64 graphics, or when the Atari ST first came out, there was they used to kind of show a lot of Atari ST versions all the time, you know, and then you got your Spectrum one and you opened up, and bloody monochrome graphics, and then with no sound, you know. You were absolutely gutted. But anyway, so to go right back to the point I was going to try and make, do you think there's games like Pipeline? You can't go onto MAME and play Super Pipeline 2. Is there games, do you think, or is there any reason why somebody or yourself would want to play an 8-bit conversion of an arcade game when you can quite easily fire up the arcade version?
No.
Because it's kind of been, back in 1985, you could only play Outrun on your Amstrad unless you could go to Portobello and play it and spend loads of money. So that was the only version, that was the only way you could play
exactly.
it.
That's why.
Now you've got the arcade one. So would you ever play the Amstrad one over the arcade?
No.
Yeah, there's that's basically it. It's, you know, the second that something like MAME came along and it basically allows you to play. I mean, even a PC from probably 10 years ago would run most stuff with MAME now. I mean, the PC I've got now it's not a particularly massively powerful machine, but I can put some like Ridge Racer on it and it runs flawlessly. You know, it's just absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't think. So why would you think people would still play old games? I mean, how often do you play old games in comparison to new games?
Maybe once a week. See, the thing is, if they brought out Jet Set Willy for the PS4, would people buy it?
Probably not. I wouldn't think.
No. I think what they should have an updated version, and they should include the original as well.
A bit like, have you seen what? In fact, don't mind me asking, Brian. What's your most current? What's your gaming platform of choice at the moment? What is it you use?
PS3.
PS3. You've not got like a PS4 or anything
No,
like that?
I was going to get one fairly recently, and it never happened. But mind you, they're a lot cheaper now, so.
Aye, well, you probably saw. I went out and I mean, my PS4, I wasn't using it. It was, I was getting caught with the whole hype thing, and I thought I want to get. Well, I mean, I don't mind telling, but when my father passed away 3 years ago, I should say, we decided we got a wee chunky money. We thought we'll get a kitchen, we'll go on holiday, and I thought, right, what I want to do is because my daughter was gibbering about wanting an iPad. I thought, we can't afford it, so we kind of allocated. We all, like me, my wife, and my daughter, we got £400 to do what we wanted. So my daughter bought an iPad, and my wife bought shoes, and I thought I'm gonna get my PS4. So I got my PS4 on, day one sort of thing, and I bought it, and then it sat and it sat and it sat and it sat, and it's never got used. Excuse me, it never got used. But I've got to say, excuse me again. Oh, pardon me. Over the last, I would say probably the last 6 months, I've actually made more of a point of playing it. And I think with me is I've got to get a game that I want to play, because there's nothing better than getting a game and you play it for a couple of hours and it's like, fucking hell, it's 11:45, I better go to my bed. You save it and you come home from work, right, but I'm going to put that on, I'm going to see if I get past that level. It's great when you get involved in the game, but I haven't had that with the current generation for a long, long time. But just over the last 6 months or whatever, I've been making an actual physical point of playing these games and enjoying it. And then when the Expo and the Xbox One, whatever it is, came down in price, I decided to get myself that. And I've got to say, I've got that downstairs in the living room, and I've been playing that a lot. I mean, I got myself, what did I get? Batman Asylum, Arkham Asylum, I think it's called, whatever. It's fantastic. But there's a game. Hang on, that's my thing making noises now. Oh, bugger off. Retro for sale Facebook page. Sod off. What was I going to say? There's a compilation. I don't know if you've seen it by Ultimate or the Rare compilation. Are you aware of that at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard
That was
rumours
just.
of it.
I mean, it's good. It's good. It's basically all the Rare games. But some people were complaining about there's no GoldenEye, there's no Diddy Kong Racing and all that. And the reason well that'll be is because, well, can you imagine the licensing, or it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
If they try to get, I mean, James Bond, trying to get a James Bond game on the new thing, they would have to pay thousands of pounds, or probably more than that, to get that put out. Diddy Kong Racing, they're not, Nintendo aren't going to say PS, Microsoft, aye, no bother, there you go, crack on lads. So that's almost the reason that these games haven't been included. But yeah, what it is, it's not even well, it is kind of remakes. You've got the original. It's quite clever. You can pick the options. You can either go for like, in fact, no, you know what? You don't have. There's not a remake of it. There's a couple of games that came out in the Xbox 360, like Jetpack. There's a new Jetpack one came out, but all the other games like your Night Lore and your Jetpack and these other ones, it's just the same game, but you can play it with like it's not modern graphics. You can play it how it would look like on a monitor where it's like proper super sharp graphics, or else you can put the CRT screen overlay so it's all kind of blurred looking. It looks really nice.
Right.
And it's really, really clever. I mean, it's excellent the way they've done it. You can read the history about the games. But ultimately, you know what, I've put it on a couple of times and I'm like, right, I'll have a shot of Jetpack, and right, okay, right, I think I'll play Attic Attack now. And I played them for a couple of minutes. And I was like, I don't really want to play these anymore. So I'm not quite sure I think it's, for a lot of people, it's a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, I think it is when you first went, the nostalgia thing is when you think, oh, I've not played this for 30 years or whatever. So you think, oh, you have a go at it. But once you've played it a few times, once you get over your nostalgia kick.
Aye. You're
like, see, Night Lore on the Amstrad was a good game. Good game.
Aye, absolutely. It's it was mind blowing when it came out. But then the Ford Model T car was mind blowing when it came out in 1916. But you wouldn't want to drive it now.
No.
I mean, things have moved on. Absolutely moved on. So I mean, I must admit, although again, as time's gone on, I've kind of got to realise that I'm not a collector. I mean, people say, but you do collect things. Well, yeah, I do collect them, but I collect them to play. I don't collect things per se to it always saddens me when I see somebody will post on Facebook, complete collection of Dreamcast games, all unopened, $70,000.
They're still shrink
It's like,
think,
aye, shrink wrapped. Seriously.
Come on.
Game, I mean, I can understand a model, keep it in the box, you can see the model, it's box, whatever.
If it's still shrink wrapped, it might as well be an empty box.
Aye, absolutely. It's absolutely pointless, and the people that collect these are obviously not gamers.
No.
You know what I mean? So that always saddens me big still when I see games. I mean, I've got a mate, Dave. I mean, he's got quite a good collection of Atari 2600 games, and he got what was it? There was a version of Pitfall. I don't know if it's an American one, whatever it is, and apparently it's really, really, really rare to get. And he got one that was shrink wrapped, and he took great delight in opening it up on YouTube, saying, for all these people that's going to have a heart attack, here you go. And he got his Stanley knife and he went, da-da-da, and he opened it up and he's going, ah!
Quality.
People are like, oh, that's terrible. The funny thing is, I've always, like I said, I would never class myself as a gamer. As a gamer, I've never classed myself as a collector. I buy stuff to play. Um, but I had a big, I mean, I've got, most of my systems. I mean, I love having the original hardware. There's, I do realise, I appreciate that one day, the capacitors and the things will go tits up, and maybe one day I'll decide, fuck it, I've had enough, I need the money, whatever. But I've got to sell something. It's like, oh, I've got 2 Dreamcasts. I'll sell one, and you go into Gumtree or eBay, and it's like 30 quid. It's like I get 30 quid, and then my wife's like, oh, you need to go up to Morrison's and get milk and bread. And it's like, down to 20 quid, and then you're like, oh, my Dreamcast is away. For what? For a couple of pints of milk and
Might as well
I
just
thought,
keep
nah,
it.
I hang on to stuff.
Aye.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I do understand that there's going to be a day possibly where I decide to just sell everything. But yeah, I love having the original hardware. I love, people will say, people talk about, but it's a pain in the arse with, tech doesn't work, and I can play emulators just the same, and they're absolutely right. And I was, before I got involved with collecting stuff again, or sorry, I don't collect. Before I got involved in buying stuff to play, I was, I've got a massive emulator collection. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've been collecting emulators basically since I got the internet, or in fact, should I rephrase that? Ever since I got an internet connection at work, which was back in 1997, I've been downloading emulators. So I've been collecting emulator ROMs and God knows what have you for all these years. So I think emulation's fantastic, but there's just something super good about sitting, not sitting at a monitor, sitting on the floor or sitting in your game chair, and you've got the original machine sitting in front of you, and you've got the proper joystick. It's got to be that 8-bit attack stick
Micro
with the
switch, clicky.
I
That's
mean,
really,
actually, and people that haven't used them don't understand. But because I've been in both camps, I totally get the original hardware thing. But what I do have is I've got, like, you're probably aware, there's SD kind of storage things. So I mean, for my Spectrum, I've got an SD card thing. I've got one for the, what have I got? I've got one for the C64. I've got my Amiga, which has got a CF card in it. I did buy one for the Atari ST, but it doesn't work really well. The Atari 8-bit, I've got one for that. I've got a Mega Drive EverDrive cartridge. I've got the SNES. So all the original hardware, I've got these cartridge things. So you've got all the games.
instant access to the games. Yeah, it's no,
Aye.
it's the best of both worlds, isn't it?
As I said, I don't.
It's not like you're trying to load them off tapes.
No, bollocks to that. I mean, the thing is, I've got this cartridge for the C64. It's called as the Ultimate 2 cartridge, and it is just fantastic. It lets you load cartridges. So there's some clever people out there have put together cartridges with, like, do you remember all, like, the Epix games, like Summer Games, Summer Games 2,
yeah.
Winter Games, California Games? There's like a cartridge that's got about all the collection at Epix. So this cartridge plays all cartridge images. Whoops, I just hit my headphone there. It also plays like disc images. It plays tapes. It plays like T64 images, like instant loading. Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal. So it's like the best of both worlds. And like I said, I did have a huge collection of like C64 games and Spectrum games. And they've been sitting up in the loft, and I thought, what is the point of them being up there? I'm never ever going to use them, so I sold them all. But I don't know how I got into it. Over the last, maybe 2 or 3 months, there's a company, in fact, I did my last Day Did What video, which was Interceptor Micros, which I put out last week, I think it was. They were a god-awful software company. That most of the games are utter pish. There's just something about the artwork, the boxes. So I've actually been starting to collect a few of them again, and I've got maybe about half a dozen. I've been collecting some of the Lamasoft games, like the Jeff Minter games, because all his artwork was really quite iconic. And one of the guys on Retro for Sale, I was buying, what was I buying? Hypersports, because I loved that, the Imagine cassettes. I think they looked really smart with quite smart covers. I've bought Hypersports, and the guy sent me a message on Facebook, says, "Oh, I've not tested it yet. I'll check it out for you." And I emailed him
Like,
back and says, "Look, don't worry." I said, "I couldn't give a shit if it works or not." I said, "I'm only wanting it for the box." I said, "I just want it for the artwork." I says, "If the tape's in it, fantastic." I says, "But I'm not bothered." You know what I mean? So I mean, so what I mean, so gaming wise, is it the PS3 you use primarily?
yeah. I mean, I like games like Pez. I mean, you get two folk and a couple of drinks, and you're playing football on Pez is amazing.
Oh, Pro Evo Soccer.
Aye. On the
What version is it you use? What year would it be?
tell you what, it's a few years old now because I only ever bought it once. You know, I mean, I wasn't like buying it. I wasn't buying it every year. It must be like
Just quite
2011 maybe.
quite an old one. Yeah, yeah. Funny that, because my favourite soccer game, or football I should say. Listen to me, Mister American. Soccer,
I
soccer.
used to hate
Uh,
saying soccer.
um, Goaltenders, keepers, goalkeepers, goaltender. Yeah, my favourite version. I remember, I'm talking about the sort of first generation. The PlayStation Pro Evolution Soccer was really good, but then the one that I thought was the best was it Pro Evolution Soccer 2 on the PS2, I think it was, and the GameCube. It just, to me, that was just like brilliant. It didn't take it, it added extra moves and that kind of stuff, but it was still simple to play. But then ever since that came out, I've just struggled big time with football games. In fact, I think I
Oh,
actually
like
mentioned, did I
FIFA.
mention
I mean, what's the difference between FIFA 2014, 2015, 2016?
about £54. I
Why
don't know
don't they
if you
just spell
saw.
you an update?
I don't know if you saw that.
Oh,
I think because I
I did.
mentioned how
Aye,
awful.
I saw you.
Yep,
Aye.
it was what there's a guy who makes. Is it Twitch? I think it is. He's got a YouTube channel, and he records himself playing different games, and one of them was FIFA. And I was watching it. It was like FIFA 15. I thought, fuck, that looks really, really good. I thought, ah, I think I'll have a look and see how much it is. So my daughter was up at the shops, and I phoned her and says, "Can you pop into CEX for me, excuse me, and see how much it is?" So she phoned me back. "Oh, it's £3." I'm like, what? I says, "I get me that." So sure enough, £3 for last year's edition, or else I don't know what it costs, brand new £45. But apparently it's to do with, well, as soon as a new version comes out, the people who want them, they want to have the current teams. That's what it's all about. You're paying for the names, and nothing else really.
Mental.
But that's good. So I thought, yeah, for £3, I'll have that. So is that the game that you play most of all? Then would you say?
I'd say that's one of my favourite PS3 games.
Mm-hmm. Um, right, where was that one? I think. Well, how are we doing for time?
Time is it now,
It's 5 to 12 at midnight. Yep, we're almost at an hour. So I think I've just got one last thing, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with video games. It's Star Wars. Have you seen the new film?
I've not seen it, no. Although I've got a friend at work. He reckons it is mind-blowingly good.
Can I ask you why you've not seen it?
I,
Not
just,
there's anything wrong with not
no,
having not seen.
I mean, I don't go to the cinema that often, and I just haven't seen it yet. But I
Aye.
mean, this guy, he's right into Star Wars, and he's saying that it's right up there with the originals. And I was thinking before it came out, I was thinking, you're going to be so disappointed about this. You're going to be disappointed, but no, apparently he was
Well,
raving
yeah,
about it.
I mean, I'm again. I've mentioned this before. I'm probably, if you've got your complete nerds who love science fiction, I'm probably at the complete opposite end of the scale. I've probably seen Star Trek, the original. I've maybe seen 3 or 4 episodes. I've never seen any of the new Star Trek Generation. I've never seen the X-Files. I've never seen Lost. Um, oh, I could just go on and on and on. I'm not one for science fiction, but Star Wars, probably like a lot of people, it's the one, well, I say trilogy of films. I think, I would be, what would I be? I was 10 years old, and it was a magical thing. So I've always really enjoyed Star Wars. And yeah, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but most people have probably seen it by now. If you've not seen it by now, probably it's because you're not really too bothered about having seen it. But yeah, it's brilliant. I would say it's almost like a mash-up of the first one. There's loads of wee kind of nods to the original. They've made a film that fans are wanting to see, but apparently George Lucas is none too enamoured with it.
No.
Oh, so I read. I read it on Facebook, so it must be so good. So anyway, listen, I think, Brian, I think we're going to call this one to a close. That's almost a nice round hour, so I think that will do. Thank you very, very much for joining me. We did get there eventually.
Well, I'm glad that we got there in the end. Yeah.
Yes, and I think we'll definitely be back with another one of these in the coming weeks. We'll not leave it 6 months like we did before, but I think it's actually Jamie's fault because he was supposed to be getting a new headset or something, and he hasn't done it.
Yeah, I blame
and
him.
he's still not done it. So yeah, it's all his fault.
We know you're out there. We know you're listening.
Anyway, guys, listen, thank you very much for joining me, Brian. Thank you to everybody that's watching. If there's any comments you want to put to myself or Brian, or if anybody particularly wants to take part in one of these, and just ping your comment below, and make sure you've got a laptop that works. Anyway, listen, guys, thanks so much for watching, and thanks again, Brian. You take care, man.
Cheers, man.
Alright, cheers, buddy. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching my Mamemeister channel. Please feel free to like, comment or subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter.